Hair, Love, Radio.
You're listening to Hair Love Radio, where we get into the nitty-gritty of what it takes to make your dreams a reality, start unlocking your potential, and live your best life, helping hairstylists, creatives, and girl bosses spread their awesome and light like confetti. You were made for awesome. Hi, welcome back to Hair Love Radio. I'm your host, Elizabeth Faye. Today I'm here with one of my friends, Rebecca Taylor.
Hey, Elizabeth Faye.
How are you?
I'm super stoked to be here.
Yes, we're in LA in our hotel room for the event Hair Love Club in LA. Reach for the stars. It's going to be super lit. And I'm excited to have stolen Rebecca and to be in our hotel room chatting.
I'm excited to be here, and I gotta tell you, I have never been a part of a sound system so dang clear and amazing, and your setup is great, so hopefully you hear everything I'm going to tell you. Oh ASMR. Okay, that's all.
Oh my gosh. Okay. ASMR is like those videos on YouTube. Oh my gosh. Okay. If you don't know what these are, I'm totally...
Look 'em up.
We're putting them in the show notes. So it's like... you'll watch the videos and it'll be someone like breaking apart slime. Or
like,
okay, show them. Do it.
Like, okay, this is an ASMR video. That's my nails against the thing. It's supposed to be really soothing. Okay, that's it. Let's get into the good stuff.
No, hold on.
Okay. Oh, is there more?
No.
Oh, I got a good one. Hold on.
Yeah.
That was me drinking my Starbucks.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Okay, so these videos, like, you can watch them forever. Funny fact, Lo Wheeler is, like, crazy obsessed with these. And at our last event in Utah, we stayed up till, like, 3 a.m. watching these.
You fell down the rabbit hole.
We fell down the rabbit hole, like, deep. Me, Cassandra Platinum, and Lo Wheeler are in our jammies drinking wine, watching these videos. And then we watched the one where you can watch someone... if they're either massaging someone else, like it, like
you could hear the skin and the fingers and stuff.
Yeah, it's like I need to look it up, but it's like you're getting a massage.
Interesting.
And it's creepy, but I was totally relaxed.
It's like virtual reality without actually feeling it. Fascinating.
Totally, it was fascinating. So that's really funny you say that. But
sorry, I derailed us right away.
Yeah, just this episode is about ASMR.
That's really all I have. That's as deep as I go. No, I'm kidding.
So anyways, all right, Rebecca, let's go through some basic information about you for those who've been living under a rock and don't know who you are yet. So
I'm sure there are so many people, I'd like to think that, I don't want to think that I don't want to assume ever, someone knows me or knows about me, even though I have been at the social game for 10 plus years. I feel like assuming anything turns you into an egotistical butthole.
That's very true. So, I agree with the butthole.
But I appreciate the sentiment, assuming people know me, yes.
So Rebecca Taylor is a hairstylist. And where can they find you on Instagram?
I kept it simple. I changed it to Rebecca Taylor Hair. It used to be Vivid Artistic Hair Design, which was
oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
No, it was so long, and so people didn't know what the heck it was. Technically, what it was the salon I owned in Pensacola, Florida. It was Vivid. This is the marketing, and this is the way it looked on the sign. Vivid dot artistic hair design, very little. So I just made the whole thing into my IG handle before I really knew about how people would find you and how if you rattled it off, would it be easy, blah, blah, blah. So when I would go to hair shows, people would assume it was my name and they'd be like Vivi or Vivid, or they didn't know my name. So when I got to the point of really understanding branding myself, I changed it to Rebecca Taylor Hair. So one little point I want to bring up is that when you decide to rebrand, if you do decide to rebrand, it's not the end of the world. You can change your name. You still will retain your followers. And there's actually like a redirection page or something like that. So if they try going to Vivid Artistic Hair Design, it will say the new page is Rebecca Taylor Hair. So there's no problem changing your name to something that better suits you.
I agree with that 1,000%. I've actually rebranded 3 times.
See, so Yeah. It doesn't change anything. It just helps if you're rebranding for something that's going to better you.
Yeah, if you're rebranding to align yourself with like your goals and your audience, then do it, absolutely. And a lot of people rebrand. It's a very
Well, you learn, you learn, or you change salons, or you decide you don't want to do it just for your salon. You want to brand yourself as an artist, and you grow and you change. And as you evolve, I feel like sometimes it's necessary to rebrand.
So let's talk a little bit about your Facebook game. What's going on there? The page where a bunch of hairstylists are hanging out. So talk to us about that.
Okay. So just a real quick backstory when it comes to social media in general. I started on MySpace. I mean, I was no Jeffree Star, like some, freak of nature with a bazillion. I'm not calling him a freak of nature, but, like that sort of social freak of nature phenomenon that first, kicked off.
It blew up. Yeah.
Exactly. So I took that, I carried that over to Facebook whenever it became more prevalent, and Facebook took to Instagram, and then Periscope, which died, and whatever. But Facebook,
rest in peace, Periscope.
Oh yeah, exactly. And MySpace, I'm doing the Father, Son, Holy Spirit thing right now. But so Facebook, I don't know if you'll agree, but it kind of came and went with popularity when Instagram became really, really super popular. And so I always utilized it. But now when it comes to my personal Facebook page, I don't really utilize it for much. But I started a group called Hairstylist Education Forum, HEF for short, about 4 years ago. And a quick story about how that came to be was I was part of another group, and the admin, or the person that had created that hairstylist group, she was kind of like a nut job, to be honest with you. She would dictate everything, wouldn't allow videos for some reason. Even if they were educational, wouldn't allow, there wasn't live at that point in time, but she wouldn't allow anything. And then she reprimanded me about posting an educational video, and the guidelines were out of control. So I was just like, you know what? I am going to start my own Facebook group that doesn't have all these crazy guidelines, where education is key, and I'm not poaching brands to try to market there, and I'm not an egomaniac. I can't say that word.
Egomaniac.
Yeah, an ego freaking maniac. I'm not an asshole. How about that? So I don't even know who this woman is. If you're listening, I'm sorry you were rude, and so HEF came to be. So I actually thank you for that. But it grew to the point of being 150 stylists, and that doesn't seem like a big deal, but that's
a lot of people, though.
It's a secret group, though, so you can't just search it and become a member. You have to be added by another member. Had this been a public group, I mean, who knows how many people it would be, but we try to keep it be people that are really there for education. The guidelines are simple, no plagiarism, don't be rude. The whole platform is just don't be an ass. And then we have amazing admins, a group of amazing admins that the group wouldn't be what it is now 4 years later had it not been for these admins that are just the best. So recently, between myself, Caitlin Ford, her husband Bobby,
who, by the way, I love her, and we need her on the podcast.
Yes, you do. And
oh my goodness,
even more so now, because she had her injury, and she lost her index finger down to the knuckle. And this is her dominant cutting hand, and she's already back to work, and this happened about a month ago. She's a beast.
So what's her Instagram?
Caitlin Ford Hair.
We'll put that in the show notes.
She's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, her work is
next
phenomenal,
level.
Such a talent, and then let alone this instant that's happened recently. Really cool to see how the industry came together. Rebecca started a GoFundMe, and people were able to help her while she was out of work. But it's just really cool to see how our industry really...
We got to come together. And you and I were just talking about this. And regardless of if you're best friends with people that happen to fall ill or get into accidents or whatever your beef might be, as petty as it is, we are a community, and if we can share a situation, and Ricky, for instance, Ricky Zito, he recently had an accident, share a GoFundMe. You may not be best friends, or you may not know him well, or you may be, but whatever the case is it doesn't hurt to share. And actually, we used to keep GoFundMes and charitable things off of HEF because of it just being inundated with, I want new teeth, or I need to get new shears, or GoFundMe for everything,
Yeah.
So I just made the call, hard, fast rule, don't do it, as hard as it was. But I did share there on Caitlin, and so I couldn't, exactly show favoritism in that way. So we changed the guideline to allow, major accidents, accidents, dismemberments, like crazy things like that. Because why not share that platform and use it for good? You know,
when you have such a big audience. And I think if it's not for new teeth
Yeah.
or something,
Yeah.
it's for like an actual real
Yeah.
crisis where someone needs help.
So that's going to be kind of tricky. That's going to be kind of tricky to pick and choose. But I mean, major accidents where you don't have insurance, or if you are out of work and it's like cancer or illness or something like that, and I'm making the call. I have that freedom to make the call.
No, that will be tricky to make that call, but hopefully everyone
Yeah.
can kind of navigate through that.
And you know what? Like, to get back to it, you know, we were talking about Caitlin. So we were actually in Dubai for Trillion Tones, which is a color line that I've partnered with. And we were talking, and I've always wanted to take HEF, I'll just call it that, hairstylist education form, the larger form. I've always wanted to take it to the next level and do something, you know, a bit more with it if I could. And so we had the conversation. You know, a lot of people do. What is that? It's like a paid subscription thing. What is that app called that people do? Not Parrot. It starts with a P. I want to say Patreon. So a lot of artists are doing Patreon. Zach Mesquit, Platinum
I have
Perfection.
seen people doing that.
Yeah. So it's like a paid subscription thing that you just get. You get like virtual online education that you don't just see on their Instagram. Because to be completely honest with you, and I'm just gonna keep it real here for a minute. Before social media, where did you get your education? Hair shows. You paid for it. You sought it out. There were DVDs, whatever. I feel like sometimes in this industry, people feel like you're entitled to have an artist give you everything, give you all of their expertise, knowledge, and everything for free, you know. And I've from jump have always been about sharing my formulas and things like that. But I've also made education be a part of my earning potential and my living.
As it should be.
Well, yeah.
And I'm very open on my platform as well. And obviously this podcast, I mean, we give you guys gold all the time. But at the end of the day, education needs to be paid for when it's at an advanced level, 100%. And I remember there was actually a movement in my town for like 2 seconds. By movement, I mean like 3 people.
Yeah.
But like that tried to start this thing that education shouldn't be paid for and everyone should share their knowledge for free. And it like literally broke my heart because I remember thinking, should you highlight hair for free? Should you, as a salon owner, just pay thousands of dollars every month to keep a salon open and let your stylist work there for free?
Absolutely
no,
not.
absolutely not. That's crazy. Should the bank give you houses for free? No. And so obviously that doesn't work, but I remember, you know, these stylists talking about it and me feeling really hurt because I realized they didn't understand what went into my education class, all the hours and a decade of learning and writing curriculums and paying thousands of dollars to copyright stuff and trademark and train assistants and a team and the tripods and the everything I bought and the accessories and the travel money I
living
spent.
it, breathing it, taking time from your family, you
Yeah.
know, like they're coming to you for information for a reason, and that's because you've invested so much, you know. So I get it, you know, if there's a formula online, share it, you know, but
Absolutely.
when these people are, I don't want to say these people, when people online, when stylists online just are like formula, you know, and just bark it when you post something. I'm like, you know, we live in the age now where it's kind of instant gratification and you got YouTube and whatever else. But, you know, like we are our own commodity as educators. And so I feel like this isn't, you know, the time to feel entitled. I will always give and share, but there's certain things that, there's certain things that are premium that you're going to give more. You're going to really give more. And that's where HEF Academy came from. And that's where HEF, where there's a wealth of information that's been coming for free, just flowing for 4 years. But HEF Academy
is taking it to another level.
It is. It's like a premium education format. And
and the reason you pay for something is because people put in more work. They put in more time. And when someone pays you to do a service, you're going to do it fucking brilliantly.
Exactly.
When you're doing your aunt's hair for free, you're going to cut all the corners.
Yeah, you're going to half-ass,
you're not going to blow dry it. Yeah.
Pull
and so
her a little bit.
education's going to be the same. I actually just taught a webinar on HEF, And it was an amazing webinar. We spent a whole hour doing it. We wrote a curriculum before, all these things. And we're doing a few more on there, by the way.
Excited about that.
Ooh, but yeah, and I love your education format. It's on Facebook. So it has a really chill, organic feel.
Interactive as well.
Very interactive, but still very quality education. And the artists are really taking the time to think about what they're going to share and why and how and all of that.
And the good thing too is, it's live, so you can catch it live, interact with the artist. They're going to answer all your questions, but it's also you can rewatch it, and they will still go back and answer questions. So if for some reason you can't catch it live, then you'll be able to still interact with them, and it just goes more in depth. So it's like if you can't provide the overhead to be there in person, or for their full course, their full class, then it's just the next best thing. And it just gives you a taste of what they have to offer. And the cool thing too, and I'll get into the details real quick, it's $300 for the year. You basically get 2 months for free, or you could pay month by month, $30. So we wanted to keep it really affordable, and we're paying the educators. So, it's $750. I'll just tell you, the educators get paid $750 for their hour or two. And so we don't want them to do this for free. It isn't a charity. So they're going to get paid, there's always barter situations and stuff if you're working with other artists, but we want to pay the educators. This isn't like a get rich quick scheme. In fact, a lot of the money that we're getting from this, we're going to provide a huge second annual live free event like we did last year in September.
Oh my gosh, I missed that event.
Oh,
but
man.
I heard and saw so many amazing things.
You have to come to it the next time. But it's called Hef Gives Back, and we facilitated it for 500 stylists for free in Los Angeles. We had 18 educators, people like Mustafa, Ricky, Philip Wolf, Caitlin Ford, Caitlin Tichka, Christina Cheeseman. I could just go on and on. There were so many people. They donated their time for free. So we want to take this money and give back.
By the way, if you need me for that, I'll help you out.
You're going to be on the lineup if you've already said it, so you're committed.
Happy. It's on the podcast. I'm happy to teach for free.
Awesome.
I love that. And I think there are times to give back. There are times to do things. Our Hair Love tickets, we give a portion to a charity. Like, I think that's great. But at the end of the day,
you help me, I help you. That's what it's all about,
Yeah. No, I love that. So Hef Academy, we'll put that in the show notes. Seriously, $30 a month. Like, everyone can make that happen. That's your tips from 1 or 2 clients. And the only way you really can, continue to elevate your business and your skill set and all of that is to be continually pouring back into it. Just like you have to refill your color cupboard, you do have to refill your mind, your heart, your soul, and your skill set. So.
Absolutely. And we had Tap of the Coffee was the inaugural one.
Holy crap.
Yeah. We've got Ben Mullen, like the sheer genius fella and a good friend of mine. We've had like so many people.
Just the little guys.
just, just these little peons that, whatever.
Just started.
No, I mean, I don't fangirl over fucking really anybody, but Tap of the Coffee, like, it's not because of the show. It's because of, I just look up to her so much, and she's such a solid, genuine human being, and I'm really, really happy to, like, call us friends. We've seen each other many, many times, like, got drunk and danced in Australia together, like, with her hilarious, like, stepsister, I think, I don't know. But
I love that.
It's surreal.
You gotta hook her up so we can get her on the podcast.
I can do that. I can pull some strings. She's freaking amazing, and
she's like the ultimate girl boss.
She is, and she's not like the jerk that they portrayed her on. She was never really a jerk. She just really spoke her mind, and that is part of the reason why I feel like I am empowered to speak my mind. And if you guys watch my stories, I have a very colorful vocabulary and colorful meaning. I say fuck every other word. I'm trying to work on it. Just take it down a couple fucks, but I don't know.
Like
but,
a fuck meter.
Yeah, my fuck meter is like off the charts right now. But the thing is there's a time and a place. That's my personality. That's my outlet. And that's another thing I want to talk about is, okay, so there's so much amazing work online. There's no shortage of people that are just busting ass when it comes to their technical skills.
True that.
What you can't duplicate, like there are a million Vivid artists, fashion color artists, right? What you can't
balayage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Millions of people in their,
niches.
Exactly. So what you can't duplicate is your personality. And I'm not saying go drop a bunch of F-bombs. I'm not saying, be, super sexualized. I'm not saying do this, do that. I'm just saying be you. And me is what you see. And I'm very thankful to be in an industry where I get to be me. And there's a time and a place. And my professionalism is me keeping it real. I know not to drop a shit ton of. See, I know.
I mean, we are in an industry. You can have blue hair and say fuck.
Exactly. I know. But, there are times. Like I did Leading Ladies in Columbus with Tracy.
Probably
Hughes.
lower on the fuck meter.
Oh, well, she flat out told me. She was like, no F-bombs, actually no cussing. And I'm like, I get that. That's fine. Like there's a time and a place and, know your audience more or less and know the
You're
people.
like, no problem. I never swear.
Never. I was like, yeah, but she just had to say over and over again, like no curse words because clearly she followed my stories. But you know what? In general, another thing too is I feel very lucky to work with brands that know me and have chosen to partner with me because of my personality and let that shine through and know that underneath my personality is substance where I really, really want to help stylists and I have information to give.
Right.
And that's my top priority is through my personality and through, what I've learned the last 15 years in the industry and just tried to soak up and honestly lived, breathed, sleep, thinking about it, dreaming about it, beating myself up about it. Like, everything about this industry has been like my driving force for 15 years. I've lost relationships. I can't foster friendships the same way. Like I'm learning to balance now, but everything I've gathered over the 15 years is what I want to pour into the education that I offer. So whether or not I say a curse word here and there, that's still me, but I don't want to be boring. I don't want to be a robot because I did Joico. I was an educator for Joico for 7 years where it was like, it was like the regime, like every foil had to be like, I couldn't have a wrinkle in it and everything had to be done a certain way. Same amount of foils, same direction. Hell, you had to pull out a roller for God's sake. So It was like, that's why I'm so rogue now because I had to do that for 7 years.
I think a lot of artists are. I mean, most big companies have a culture and systems. Some a little bit, more rigid than others, but I would say most of the big manufacturers have a pretty rigid system and culture,
especially before.
Yeah, and I do think this new wave of social media and educators and a lot of the people that are educating independently, myself included, a lot of the people on the podcast, we have worked for larger manufacturers in a different capacity than we do now. Now it's more as ambassadors and representations of ourselves through that brand.
Freedom.
But before it was very different.
Yeah.
But what I've loved, both of us, Rebecca and I are actually Redken ambassadors, which I'm sure you feel the same, has been one of the greatest highlights of my career.
Same.
And I can't say enough good about, obviously, the products. Like I feel like everyone's used Redken. It's like
it's a I don't know, a flagship when it
in beauty.
Exactly. And it's so amazing. Yeah.
Of course the products are phenomenal, but like the people, the culture, like I can't say enough good about the inside and outside of this company. And what's really great is, a lot of things that are happening in our industry that have shifted in the last 5 years, they're one of those companies that's really adopting those concepts, and they see that there's a place for artists, there's a place for ambassadors, there's a place for platform performers, and they really have a great culture set up, and they adjust where they need to. So I'm sure even the artist program, from what I've heard of the last couple years, has made changes to adjust to the new wave of stylists and the way we do things.
They welcome you, if you've noticed.
Yes.
The lifers, the ones that have been there and given their all and are like rah-rah Redken like 100% and don't deviate with other lines. I have felt so welcomed. And, like there have been other brand situations where I've gone into them and, being an influencer or whatever you want to call it, being kind of independent, but working with the brand, like we're like, well, why do you have the opportunity to go on stage? And I get that, being with a brand and having people come in and not knowing the situation,
right?
Like, oh, I've been busting my ass, but how does this person, because of whatever reason or numbers or whatever? I never felt like that with Redken. And to add to what you're saying, it not only has it been a highlight of my career, but I safely safely to say one of, not just one of, but the best brand to work for that I've ever worked with.
Yeah,
or,
I 1000%.
Yeah.
I have a much smaller following than you. Not that that
Doesn't
matters,
matter,
but
man.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So the different brand opportunities I've had throughout the years, I've definitely gotten, and I've never had someone that truly aligned with what I wanted. And I actually worked with Redken for free for 2 years before, just because our goals lined up, and I didn't know anything was coming of it.
That's why they're
And-
so giving of you, because you've been so loyal. And
yeah, I love what they're doing. And so it's been really great to go on the journey with them, like everything that's evolved over.
Cover of Salon Centric, might I add.
Oh my gosh.
Girlfriend, I saw that when I checked my mail, and I was like, girl. And then I'm just so proud of you. And this is, again, to speak to the fact that numbers don't matter. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, it's quality
Yeah.
over quantity.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't think people should walk around with their freaking follower count stamped on their forehead, like, you know, that defines you, like a episode of Black Mirror or something.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's about what you're bringing to the table and you as a person. And clearly they value you, you know, because of the opportunities and, you know, your work with Salon Centric and Redken and whatever. Like, big ups for that. That's amazing. You're doing this hair love retreat. You're kicking ass, and the numbers have nothing to do with it. I mean, you do have a solid following, clearly, but I don't think that matters as much anymore. And it matters about, you know, consistency and your drive and your hustle. And I was once told by somebody that I was very close to that hustle seems like you're scratching and scraping and like trying to fuck over the guy next to you. And like you just gotta scurry to get to where you want to be, like a rat. And I'm like, you know, at one point I consider that maybe to be a truth. But you know what? Hustle can be a personal hustle. Just because you're, you know, hustling doesn't mean you're necessarily rushing to get somewhere. It just means you're working hard to reach your goals. It's not like a linear, like I gotta do it by this certain time thing. It just means you're not being lazy, and your hustle is on point, and you have a long way to go. Not that didn't sound right.
No,
you
but
have
yeah, we're
so
just
much
getting
more.
started.
Exactly. You have
Yes.
so much more to do, and you've already done so much. So I just want to give you props for all that you've done so far. And
Oh my
I'm interviewing
gosh.
you. I'm interviewing you over here.
Well, I could say so many good things about you as well.
Whatever.
I won't-
I don't take compliments. Well.
No, but actually Redken's the reason that we are connected.
Yeah.
I knew who you were, but we had never hung out before until
Palm
we
Springs,
became
right?
Yeah.
That was a fun trip.
Yeah, that was great. That's really where we got to connect and form our romance.
Yeah. Let's not get into that. My boyfriend might be listening.
He might
and
be
your husband's
jealous.
probably listening.
He's not
too.
my husband. Did
Are
you know that?
No.
Maybe I'll make him one. I
Make him a husband.
make him a No, I'm divorced, but we're
Me too.
Yeah. Oh, you
Yeah.
are?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, divorce.
Yeah, you haven't asked
club.
me any personal questions
Let's
yet. I
get
hope you
into
do.
that.
Yeah.
But
My
anyways.
favorite position. I'm kidding.
Okay, hold on. Hold on.
I will.
What are your animals? What's your animal children?
My fur baby, my one and only, is Otis. He is a black and white with little brindle French bulldog, and he is the love of my life besides my man. He's my child. He's my fur child.
He's so cute.
He is adorable. I kind of wanted to bring him, but that would have been a shit show considering we were like, you know, like
Yeah.
Ubering, and he doesn't drive.
But he's
well.
on your social.
Oh, everywhere. Like I've considered giving him his own page, but I can't even manage my own half the time. So
Oh my god.
you can just see him on my page. But
Otis is so cute.
What is
Yeah.
your fur child?
I have 2 teacup poodles.
Aww.
Gilly and Strawberry.
I
3
typically
pounds and
don't
5
like
pounds.
poodles. And cricket. But I've seen, you're like, fuck you. No, I'm kidding. No, I've seen yours, and like those poodles are an exception to my like anti-poodle
They're really
sentiment.
fucking cute.
They are.
I'm gonna make you love them.
I-
So tell me about
Love them.
your Chris. She's so cute. So
Oh, my
I love that
Chris.
you say my Chris.
Yes.
So who's my Chris?
Well, he's my partner, and I guess spending a lot of time overseas, like everybody just calls him your partner. You don't define
Yeah.
him with, and I like that because he's not just my partner romantically, but he's like my partner in work. He's my emotional, in every sense of the word, my
He's your partner. Yeah, I love that.
We met each other on Plenty of Fish.
No way.
Yes, way. So I was in
All the ways.
Yeah, I know, right? So I was in a long-term relationship prior to him and ended up making him a hairdresser. I put him through school.
Really?
Yeah. And so, like, we had a lot of differences and it just was a downward spiral. And so we were going to move to California together. And it was more like me. I was like, I'm moving to California. Like, I've outgrown this area. Like, I have to do it. So, tumultuous, whatever. He ended up not moving. I at first was like devastated, not because I wasn't with him anymore, but because I had just moved now to LA by myself with zero circle of friends.
Oh yeah.
And except one that I didn't get to see very often and whatever. But so I moved here all alone, did the dating thing, and I was like, wow, the dating situation in LA is fucked. Just because
I have heard that.
Yes, girl. Everybody's either a DJ, an entrepreneur, but they're lying about it, or
If someone tells me they're an
something.
entrepreneur,
Like-
I'm like, that means you have no job. What does that mean? Because
Yeah.
I'm an entrepreneur, but my title is...
You have specifics to it.
I know.
though.
I'm not like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I own these companies.
No. Entrepreneur, if you don't specifically say what you do, means you're out of work and you're trying to figure shit out.
It means
That's what it means.
you're hustling. Your first definition of
Yeah,
hustling.
generally, exactly.
Yeah.
That means the bad definition
The
of
rat
hustling.
hustling.
Yeah. So I've already gone way too like in depth to the what happened before, Chris, but let me get to it. So yeah, Plenty of Fish, and it's such a cute story because okay, so we talked for a long time. I had gone to Australia and New Zealand for practically a month. So he hit me up on Plenty of Fish. I didn't respond, busy, whatever. I wasn't into it at that point in time. Not him. I just wasn't on dating apps.
Yeah.
And so, like, he hit me up again, and he actually took the time to read my novel of a profile, which mentioned that I traveled a lot.
Aw.
And he was like, "Where in the world are you right now?" Like, kind of like a Carmen Sandiego thing, which, you know, I was born in 81, so I'm like, yeah, Carmen Sandiego. But
That's cute.
I don't even know that's what he meant, but that's what I thought. But
That's how you took it.
yeah. And so I was like, oh, I'm just about to go to Australia and New Zealand. I was leaving the next day. So literally the entire time I was over there, we text every single day. We talked on the phone. We FaceTimed. So we were confident we were both not catfishing one another. You know, we made sure it was the real deal. Literally every day I racked up a $1,200 phone bill being over there.
Oh my God.
That's when I knew it was love before I knew it was love.
You're like, I don't even care. I just
Yeah,
want to talk to you.
exactly. And so
That's actually really
it
cute.
gets even cuter. It gets even cuter. So, like, when we're first meeting, I get back, and the very next day from Australia, like, he knocks on my door to get me for a date, and then he has this little cactus, really cute cactus plant, and he was
Okay.
like, I got you this instead of flowers because I know you travel a lot, and it'll stay alive.
Oh my gosh.
and
That's
then-
so thoughtful.
I know. And then he puts the plant down and does like one of these 1950s kisses me with my leg up and swoops me kiss.
No.
We had never met. And normally, you know, women empowerment, don't be kissing people you don't know.
Yeah, it
But
would have been a little rapey, but it wasn't.
No,
Yeah.
because I was
It
like,
doesn't sound rapey to me.
it felt like love, and it was just like, oh.
Like he swept you off your feet a
Yeah,
little bit.
literally.
Yeah.
And it was angels singing, and it was super duper sweet.
Oh
and
my
then,
gosh.
And then
I
ever
have
since,
chills on my leg.
Is that your leg hair growing, or is that like
No, it's like
is it making your leg
it's
hair
cute
grow?
love chills.
It was really sweet. So fast forward like 2.5 years. In next June it'll be 3 years. And
Oh my heavens.
yeah, it's been amazing. He's there for me every step of the way. Like my surgery, you know, like nothing. He's just great. I'm gonna quit talking about it because I'm gonna cry my makeup off. But like I get emotional like over anything.
No, well, and when you've been through a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You've invested a lot in your career. I mean, we've talked a little bit about your childhood. You weren't born with a golden spoon in your mouth.
Hell, I was born with a rusty spoon in my mouth.
You were no spoon.
No, like a frosty spoon or something.
But like an old
dollar
one.
menu, yeah.
But I mean, things like that, you really appreciate the sweet things in
Oh,
your
yeah.
life more. And I think that's beautiful that you have that for him. And I have to say this as an observer, and something I feel like I observe in other people, is it's interesting when you are partnered with someone who truly supports you, loves you, like very good intentions on both sides. what you can accomplish in your life.
Totally.
Because look how much, I mean, you've always been, like, successful in making waves, but, like, look at the waves you've made with him by your side.
Oh, he helps me out more than I can ever say. And then between him and Jessica, who's over here next to me, she even, I mean, I don't want to say even more so, but in a different way because, you know, we
She's
don't
also
have
your
sex.
partner.
Yeah. That's what you think. No. Yeah, she's been there with me for 5 years, like just almost 6. Like she's my I can't live without person and best friend. So what the fuck, once I start it becomes physical good. And then they just pour out and I'm not even crying anymore. It's just like they drip out. But yeah, I'm very lucky to have the system that I have and I couldn't do any of it without him. So
well,
yeah.
and I think like that's just a really good lesson for our listeners is that if you are surrounded by people who aren't bringing light and aren't supporting, whether that's your salon team or your boss or an assistant or a lover, whatever that is, I mean, you know, maybe it's time to change your scenery and your group, and that's like...
Find your happy place and find your people that lift you up instead of tearing you down. Yeah. Because when it came to my ex, and it wasn't so many... maybe yeah, there were friends, but they were like party friends when I wasn't 100% focused, you know. It was just people that fair weather friends, you know. So the people that I have in my life right now, although I don't get to see my friends a lot, they're friends that have been there forever and that I have my back. And you know, some friends when you start to become a little successful, it maybe makes them reflect on their own lives, and they...
This is the mirror effect.
Yes. And they may not be unhappy for you, but because you become successful, it makes them... They don't want to be exposed to it because it makes them feel bad, and that mirror is turned on them, you know? So let's just say, without getting into any negative, you know, like the people that aren't there anymore, let's just say the people that I do have are my circle and my lifers. And I'm, you know, that circle's small, but it again is a matter of quality over quantity. So I'm very fortunate to have the people I have in my life.
Yeah. Well, and I would say for people listening, like, it's worth the fight. It's worth the struggle to find those people that are your right fit. And
when you get them, you hold them close.
Yeah.
You hold them super duper close.
Yeah, absolutely. Show them how grateful you are. I 1000% agree with that. And yeah, all the amens to that. That's good.
Amen,
okay.
Child.
So we were talking a little bit, Rebecca and I, about following. And we touched on that a little bit of how, like, when we talked about the cover, like, that was kind of proof that, like, you don't have to have 500,000 followers to be on a cover. You can still do awesome things in your career, in your town, in your salon, with hair, all these things without a following. And I will say this, absolutely. I mean, I coach people in social media marketing and business. The way to sell more of what you love to do is to market it, right? So obviously the more you can sell what you love to do, whether that's hair or interviewing people on a podcast,
it's
you get to
reach.
you get to do more of it, and you get to pay your bills too.
Yeah.
So that's great. But let's talk a little bit about what you and I were talking about before with numbers, and you were saying some really good stuff. So I'm just going to let you take it from here because I'm like, I loved what you were going.
Well,
I loved what you were saying.
It's my truth, and I don't want to beat a dead horse or just be, you know.
No,
like,
I don't think it is, though.
I talk about this a lot is the point, and it's because I feel very strongly about it. And I talk to so many people that either slide in my DMs or that go to my other folder that I don't all the time catch up with, because you know the whole others folder, if you're not friends with them, it's a whole another category.
Wait, the request folder?
No, there's like you don't know about this?
Oh shit,
yeah.
Hold on.
So there's your normal DMs, and then there's others who are
You're
messages.
lying.
No, that are messages that you're not friends with. And mine has said 99 plus for 4 years, and I can't get rid of it. Oh, yeah. So I get messages all the time in my other folder and my regular folder, and I try to get back to my other folder a lot. But there's so many in there, and I really try hard, guys, and I try to respond to everything.
Now it's time for the
ASMR segment. Are you ready? I'm going to try something. That's pretty much all I got.
I'm going to drink beet juice now.
I can't burp. Okay, back to the originally scheduled You're like, fine, I want to do it more. All right, let's see here. Okay, so to go back into what you
Your
were talking
DM
about.
folder.
Yes. Sliding into my DMs. Okay, so yes, I try to get back to everybody. And I really, really, really do, because I appreciate the time that people take to reach out to me. And because without engagement, without people coming on my page, what's the point of it? Because I know
Right.
companies check analytics and everything now, and the algorithm has honestly fucked me, and fucked a lot of people. The algorithm, you don't show up where you used to before, and things get lost, and truly it's about like quality content and engagement. So I try to get back to everybody, but in my DMs a lot of people talk about, how did you do it with social media? How do I do it? I'm so discouraged. There's no way I'm going to get to the followers that you have or even other people have. And I've been trying to get to like 5,000 or 10,000. Like, how do you do it? And honestly, well, let me tell you first, and I mentioned this earlier, is like, since MySpace, I've been doing it. So it's not, it's that whole cliche or that whole, analogy. It's not the escalator or the elevator. It's taken the stairs, and I've been through a lot of shit along the way. I've made, bad decisions and partnerships that didn't work out. And for God's sakes, whenever flat tummy tea was a thing, I was like, oh my God, somebody wants to pay me $500 for talking about a tea that makes you poop. I'm like, sure, and that really compromised my integrity, but I didn't know any better. So I've made some bad decisions.
Which we all have, but
Yeah.
social media is so interesting because those bad decisions are put on a high volume, which is just, I hear so often people are like, oh, I can't believe that blogger did that or did
Yeah.
this. And I'm like, okay, you do a lot of shit
Yeah.
that people couldn't believe you did. She's just putting it out to more people
It's
than
true.
you, and she's human.
Which
just
takes
like
courage, when you're putting
1,000%.
everything out there, you're not going to do everything right. You know what I mean?
No.
So I've definitely taken some hits emotionally and mentally, and like, why did I do that? And this didn't work out. Basically what I'm saying is that it's taken well over a decade to get to what I have now. And again, speaking to the fact that it's been a lot of hard work and a lot of like sleepless nights and a lot of emotional roller coasters to get there. So, and even now that I have what I have, first of all, I know it says followers, but I don't consider them followers. There was this, one of our distributors for Trillion Tones in Hong Kong was like, here's this fan that wants to meet you. I don't like fans. I don't like calling people followers. I call them friends or people or peers. I personally don't like that, because I want these, the people that choose to take the time to engage with me and look at my page and stuff, like I
Our
value
friends,
them,
yeah,
and they're my friends. And even if
100%.
it may not be your, like your traditional friendship, like we know each other, like you're
in their
everybody's so
circle,
nice.
yeah.
And I don't know how the hell I got away with people being so damn nice to me. I get very little hate and bullshit, and that's been from the beginning. And I don't know if it's what you put out, you get back. And like I said, I'm not perfect, so I've gotten a little bit of flack for some things. But I'm very, very, very fortunate and happy. But I just want to tell people that it's really, this is so, overdone and said or whatever, but it really isn't about just boom, you're going to get to where you want to get number wise and everything is going to be hunky-dory and all your goals are going to be met. That's not it. It's about the relationships that you make along the way. It's about, it's not about your number. It's about, long-term relationships and good decision making. And if you have all these numbers, but you've burned a bunch of bridges and you have been an asshole and you've been making bad decisions and you're just not a good person, or you buy your likes and your comments and your followers and shit like that, that's gonna not get you anywhere. Because I always operate under the assumption, if Instagram goes away tomorrow, what do I have? What do I have? Because if it's just about a number, that doesn't equate to what's in your account or the business, the relationships that you've made. And also just comparing yourself to other people with numbers or their work or whatever is incredibly unhealthy. And it's going to end up debilitating you and crippling you to where you don't want to do anything. And if if everything is just about how many likes you're going to get, it's going to fuck up your creative process and you're not going to be doing things for the right reasons. So if you do things, and I have struggled with this because, like I get bummed when I did something I really liked and it gets like 800 likes or something. And then something I thought was shit is going to get 5,000 likes. And you just never can gauge it. You never can gauge it. So just have fun with it. Do things. Try to remember back why you started doing things. Because to be completely honest with you, when I was up, doing my hustle, we'll say that again. When I was like working my way up, not knowing what was happening with social media or the opportunities I would get, I didn't worry about shit like this. And now that I'm there, I'm worried about staying relevant, and I don't like that. And so I'm trying to remember those carefree days of like every day was a new day and a cool opportunity and like, appreciation. And I'm going back to that, and I'm trying to remember what made me creatively fulfilled and be happy. And I'm just like the rest of you guys. Like, I get bummed out, and I try to stop myself from comparison, and I just want to compare me to yesterday's me to be better. And I don't want to compare myself to other people because that's just going to be a giant mind fuck. So that's where I'm at with that. And don't get down on yourself if you're not where other people are, because your journey is your journey and you don't know what could happen. You could do something and Allure pick it up and you're going to be on Good Morning America or Ellen or something, and you can pop off and the next day get 500,000. You don't know what's going to happen. So just keep. But
with that, I mean, that doesn't happen a lot.
It doesn't happen a lot.
And it doesn't need to be successful. But it could totally happen.
I'm just saying, anything can happen. Anything can happen. Or you'll be noticed by a company that really, really, really likes your work. I'm going to use the Caitlins or Christina Cheeseman as an example. Even you. I mean, like we talked about earlier. Absolutely. It's not about this, multiple 100,000, million follower count. It's about your personality, the shit you have going on, the impact you make on people, your content, and those are the opportunities that you get. So just stick to what makes you unique. And what I said before is really, really stick to, your personality and let that shine through and let your message speak for itself and like work on your brand, and the numbers or the opportunities will just play out as they should. Just don't get caught up on a follower count because it's not going to get you anywhere but being upset and down on yourself.
Yeah, no, it's true. Well, and I think just to look at those followers as a way to expand your reach, and that's it. Like, really just look at it as a way to open a door, but it's up to you to walk through the door and grab that client's hand and say, come in my chair. It's up to you to walk through the door and introduce yourself to that person it connected you with. So maybe, you're able to have a beautiful page, get a little bit of traction, and you get to meet someone like Rebecca or whoever. So that's how I would look at it, as an opportunity to make more friends, meet more people IRL in real life. And so
collaborate.
Use it as the bridge to the other side, because I think that's amazing what you said is like function as if Instagram were going away tomorrow. And that's not to instill fear or anything. Social media is not going anywhere, and that's why it is important to have a beautiful page and get that word of mouth on your page. But it's an amazing tool to say, hey, I'm here, this is what I'm about. And it's been the easiest time in our industry to get to know brands, other like-minded artists who live across the country without even having to go to that hair show. And then when you meet them, it's so much less scary to be like, oh my gosh, we've DM'd back and forth, and you have this instant connection. So use it for what it's used for and not to self-sabotage.
Exactly. And let me, that's a good point. When it comes to like meeting people at hair shows and stuff, please just don't be intimidated, because we're all, how we all have the same struggles. We all have the same mental shit going on. There's no hierarchy, when it gets down to it. I don't know if some people act that way, but I sure as shit won't. So if you see me at a hair show, please don't be intimidated, because I get messages like, I saw you, but I was too nervous. When you meet me, I'm a giant goofball, and what you see is what you get. And like, I don't want, like, just, we're all peers. If we all do hair, we're all peers. Yeah. So like, just reach out. And the worst that can happen when it comes to like collaborating with people is the person either is a dick, is gonna not, I don't want to say not respond, but they're gonna be like, nah, fuck off, or they're gonna be like, yeah, let's get together and do it. So but either way, you weed out and find what kind of personality that person has. I don't care how many numbers they have. I don't care who they are. I don't care what they do, what they've done. Reach out, and the worst that could happen is you get your answer, you know? But that's how you network, and that's how you meet people. And, you know, that's how you start, you know, your stepping stones and making your way through the industry.
Yeah. Well, and those real relationships are really totally your key to success, is having real friendships. And I mean, for us, like, Hair Love was built on friendships that we've had for years. And that's what honestly makes our job so filled with joy and fun and passion, is the people that are coming to our events, the people who are speaking at our events, contributing on our blog. That's what's really so fulfilling. And I'm sure you could say the same about Hef and
for sure
everything else.
Lifelong friendships, and it's all about how you treat people. That's how I feel. I feel like when it all boils down to it, it's how you treat people. And if you are worried about what kind of legacy you're going to leave, I just want to be known for somebody that didn't have like a bunch of enemies or was like a dick or like, oh, that, you know, I just want to be known for someone that was easy to get along with and gave something back and did the best I could. Because I'm sure shit not perfect, and nobody else is, you know? So just don't put anybody on pedestals, and, you know, try to get to know the real them, and just, you know, people are people. We're all in this together.
Yeah. And I actually don't think we do the person on a pedestal a favor by putting them on a pedestal.
No, you know what? A lot of times the people on the pedestal, I mean, like you said, you're not doing them in a favor, because you put them there and they're never going to reach your expectations because they're on this crazy pedestal that you've, you know, created for them. And half the time they are going to disappoint you, you know? Like, I mean, I don't want to, that sounds really negative, but like, nobody is better than another person because of numbers or what they've done or whatever. We're all humans. That's why I don't glorify celebrities. I said the one person that I like really, really look up to is Tabitha. And it wasn't about nerves. It was just like, I really, really, really fucking admire her. So that was what I meant about that. But like, I never thought like, oh, she's, you know, out of my realm or out of my, you know, like I just looked at her as a person that I really admired, you know? So just, you know, we're all peers. That's my bottom line. And we're all in this together in one way, shape, or form, because we all do hair, and it's about community over competition, because there's enough classes to go around. There are enough heads to go around. There's enough clients to go around. There's enough business opportunities to go around. There's enough brands to go around to partner with. There's enough to go around that we don't have to scratch and claw and fight and be buttholes to one another. So that's how I feel about that.
Should we title your episode "Don't Be a Butthole"?
I would love that.
Oh my gosh.
I would love that. I think I've said, that. Should we end it there on "Don't Be a Butthole"? No, there's more.
No, I actually think that's great. So I have to ask you now, we've talked a lot about buttholes. Let's talk about
trillion tones.
Trillion tones.
Yes.
So this is interesting. I've been watching you go to Finland. I have been watching you talk about this really unique color line, the science of it. Can we discuss this for a second?
Yes, and I'm going to go real quick. Okay, so yeah, every time I've said I'm going to go real quick, it doesn't go real quick.
It's fine. I want to know, okay, what is it?
Okay.
Let's start there.
So, well, I'll tell you. Do you want me to tell you what it is or how I first got approached?
First, I want to know what it is.
Okay, so Trillion Tones, it's a hybrid hair color line. Hybrid meaning all the components of a normal hair color line are broken down. So basically you have pigment, which is part A. You have alkaline, which is ammonia. It's PPD free, which is part B. And then you have developer, which is part C. Normal hair color lines it's already mixed together. Very seldom are you just going to have ammonia in a tube, because honestly, a lot of lines don't trust that stylists can formulate their own color categories on their own from start to finish. So what's the really unique point of difference is part A is they're pigments. Part A are pigments that can survive in alkaline. So if you use part A on their own, it's direct dye. And then they come with primary colors, just the red, yellow, blue, and then you got brown, black, and white. So with those tones, you can create trillions of tones. So that's why it's called that. So it's not for the hairdresser that just wants to pull a tube off the shelf and like touch up Sally's roots. You know, this is something that you have to think about. But you can, with just 16 pieces or 16 SKUs, you can create direct dyes, demi-permanent, toners, color remover, high lift color, lift and deposit, and also lift and deposit fashion color. So you can get up to 3 levels of lift. So
this is totally revolutionary.
there's nothing like this. Nothing like this broken down like this. I know. So in my past, like after, I'm just going to use air quotes here, being an influencer and have different brands and private labels hitting me up to do lines, I had 2 or 3 different people that wanted me to do direct dye lines. And for whatever reason, well, I know what the reason was. I didn't want to do something that had already been done. And so many things have already been done. So when I was approached with this line, they flew me, and I didn't even know what the hell was going on. So I knew I was speaking with a person named Tattoo via email.
Hold on. Can I just say that this is an example of a door being opened, but Rebecca had to walk through that door to make this opportunity happen. Literally, she had no idea what was going on.
Exactly.
So keep going.
Yeah. So I got an email, started getting emails from this person named Tattoo, and they were like, we have this cool idea for a color line. We want you to come test it out. You have to come to Finland. And
you have to come to us.
Yeah, that's
Finland.
it.
Yeah.
Which I don't say no to many opportunities to travel because I got the travel bug bitten, or I got bitten by the travel bug, and you know what I mean. I bit the travel bug, but
she's like, I ate the travel bug.
I did, and it was a scorpion in Thailand, and I really did do that. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. It tasted like a chip. Okay, again, moving on. So I went back and forth. He kind of told me about the line. I was like, sounds very interesting. So literally they booked the flight for me, and I went to a place called, now I can pronounce it right. I used to call it Tampere, but it's Tampere. So I went to Tampere, Finland, and I was expecting a woman because the tattoos I had known in the past were women. There was the band tattoo. They were all chicks. There was Tattoo Baby from that one tattoo show. She was a chick. So I was expecting this little Finnish chick, and it was this little blonde man. Oh, if he hears this shit, it was this strapping lad named Tatu, and he, along with his, I didn't meet his brother until later, but they took me to their facility, which they manufacture. They do all the manufacturing for Balmain and like lots of other product lines. They're like really established. The lab is there. Their chemist Kaisa comes up with all their products. So basically, I tested this. I was blown away with what it could do. We talked about the logistics. I tested it over the next 2 years. They wanted me to stick my face on all the bottles, and that's not me. If you do that, that's perfectly fine. That's your cup of tea, but I did not want my face and likeness on thousands of bottles. So I stuck with a little tiny signature. So it's, more or less my signature color line. It's doing really, really well. We have a huge meeting coming up in 2 days, as a matter of fact, and it's huge. It's life-changing, and it means it's going to be in stores all over the United States for you guys to get.
That's so exciting.
I'm just really, really proud and honored to be able to do the marketing, the culture, the education. Like, I never thought this would be a reality.
Deal.
And
so where can people find this on Instagram?
So it's www.trilliontones.com if you want to purchase. You can purchase it online.
Which we will put this in the show notes.
Thank you. And then online on Instagram, it's at Trillion Tones. And so basically everywhere Trillion Tones, Facebook, all that good stuff. So if you are an artistic hairdresser, or if you're a hairdresser in a rut and you're just sick of pulling six ends off the shelf and just slapping it on people or whatever, and you want to think and you want to be creative and you actually want to educate yourself and know about the color wheel, this is for you. And another big kicker, and this is huge for me, this is intermixable with any other line. They did not make me sign an exclusivity contract. I can work with whatever else I want, which I also mix with Redken. Redken's also incredibly generous, allowing me to work with this line, but because it's different and it doesn't interfere with anything that they're doing,
it's really different from everything.
It really, really is. So I will be honest with you, after 15 years of like, I have not been this renewed as a colorist. I forgot shit. I either forgot shit or never knew shit that I thought I knew. Until working with the chemist and working with this line, I had to relearn or learn for the first time, and I feel renewed as a colorist. So if you feel like you're in any sort of rut, you're gonna have to think harder, but you have your core line if you want to be lazy that day and pull a 6N, or you have this. So it's amazing. I'm not going to go on and on about it. I love Redken just as much as I love Trillion Tones. I work with Sexy Hair. I work with several brands. B3. But anyway, I work with several brands. I work with several awesome, people and education facilitators. I just feel like I am in a really blessed place, and I feel like I have the support from so many people. So I just want to thank the people that love me, and I love you guys back like tenfold. And I just was really happy to be asked to do this today, Elizabeth, Faye.
Yay.
And I'm stoked for the retreat tomorrow, and I just love y'all. So thank you.
Well, thank you for being on. This has been a super information-packed podcast. We'll have everywhere that you can find Rebecca in the show notes, and we would love to have you on the podcast again.
I'd love to be here.
You're going to be like all over the world next year, so we'll catch you one of those times.
And I also want to make mention that I'll be starting my podcast, Don't Be a Butthole, very soon.
Oh my God.
So keep an eye. I'm just kidding. Well, maybe not. Keep an eye out.
But it'll be only ASMR, and it'll have this segment.
That's it. Just whispering butthole. And then a lot of and then
Oh
you just decide what that sound is, considering never mind.
I just want to experience the moment when Rebecca was literally concerned that I would steal Don't Be a Butthole from her. I just want to let everyone know that was her concern today, and she can be at ease that I have publicly said I will never steal that.
I have you on record that you're not going to steal my butthole.
It is on record. I will cut my hand, bleed on your hand, and let you know that one's all you, girl. All right, so Don't Be a Butthole coming soon, 2019.
It's happening.
Thank you for being on the podcast today,
Thanks,
Rebecca.
lady.
And as always, we
hair
love you. Bye, guys. We'll see you on the next episode.
Hair, love, radio.